Well, hello everyone. This is our first live stream. Hopefully, we'll get a few people on here. We're going to talk today about the Republican National Convention, the RNC convention. I was very pleased because we came together in unity and we talked about things that are important, even though the Dems try to say, oh no, they didn't talk about nothing important. It's like, really? Just get used to the software here. And I have to figure it out later. But I thought there was very good speeches, and on Monday night, I was really emotional at a couple of different points when former President Trump came out after the assassination uh, attempt on Saturday, and the first time his kids saw him at a public event was very emotional. You know, Kimberly Guilfoyle, which is she's very much a Latina, and she's very tough. When I saw him walking towards where she was standing and saw her get very emotional and almost start crying, I thought, yeah, they've been through tremendous pain. And this is, you know, why the RNC coming together in the spirit of unity was very important because our party needs to be united going forward. Um, One of the speeches that really touched me Monday night was the young lady who lost her son to fentanyl poisoning, and she made sure to say that he was not an addict, that he did not do drugs, that he was received peer pressure at an outing and he took a pill half the size of a pencil eraser and he was dead within minutes. That's scary to think that that little amount can kill somebody in minutes. And she got very emotional and she was crying, and the crowd started chanting, "We love you, we love you, we love you." That's what makes our party different. We are not afraid to tell people we love you. We're not afraid to help them through their pain. That's very important right now with the way our country is now, that we come together as a party. And, you know, when people are in pain like that, and she said, yes, she had the talks with him. She told him, do not take any pills that are not prescribed by his doctor. She said, we did all of those things, and yet his peers pressured him until he took a small pill the size of half of a pencil eraser and was killed. The, the next night rather, Nikki Haley gave a speech and people started to boo her. I don't like when people do that because we have a big party. We need to be a big tent party and welcome all thoughts and all viewpoints. And whether you like Nikki Haley or Vivek or DeSantis or Trump, after the primary, we should all come together and support the winner until the general election is over. That's just my thoughts on it. Anyhow, she gave a speech, very conciliatory, said Trump has her strong endorsement, period. I wish she had done that sooner, but you can't make people do things when you want them to. The next thing that moved me was Michelle Williams. She is a young, pretty blonde, but she is a petroleum engineer, and she gets on the oil rigs like a roughneck. And she was at the rally on Saturday, and she said she was standing on the riser right behind President Trump when the bullets started flying. She was very emotional. She fought back tears through her whole speech. And she got to the end and she said, if a bullet isn't going to stop Trump, a bullet isn't going to stop me. And she looked out at the camera and said, you can't stop me. I thought that was very powerful. And I thought it was, all in all, a good week. I was glad that J.D. Vance got vice president. And because he's really one of us. He was raised in Appalachia, which is in Ohio and Kentucky and that area. And he said they were very poor, that his grandmother raised him, and that she had to negotiate with the Meals on Wheel driver to get extra meals so that he had food. That's something that you don't forget, you know. And that upbringing has stayed with him. He went in the Marine Corps when he turned 18, and he got out in 4 years, and he went to college, went to Yale, got his law degree, and guess who he met while he was at Yale? Vivek Ramaswamy, and they are friends to this day. Yeah. So YouTube, Zach, is going to try to put out all the negative views of JD and no positive, because YouTube is a very liberal place. Well, at least it's owned by Google. And just very liberal, and we have to live with it, you know. Because We can't choose how other people think. We can only choose how we think, what we say, what we do. And I don't want my channel to be about bashing other people. There are channels that do that. That's not me. I want to be inclusive. I want to hear everybody's point of view and then use that for myself to learn. Because this YouTube channel for me is something I'm doing because I'm 64 years old and I want to share my knowledge of things that I grew up with, which I've been a Republican my whole life, been a conservative my whole life. And while I did support Nikki Haley this year, I've never been anti-Trump, never been never Trump. I voted for Trump in 2016. I voted for him in 2020. I will vote for him in November. The reason I chose Nikki Haley is because Biden has done so much severe damage to this country. It's going to take a Republican administration 8 years to correct it. That's just my viewpoint. Because he has literally destroyed the economy in this country, which can be fixed, but it will take time. You know, and he says, I don't want to get off on a tangent, but here's a short one. Biden says that no service members died while he was president. Well, excuse me, you had that botched idiot withdrawal from Afghanistan, and 13 service members died at Abbey Gate. And then I was outraged the other night at the RNC when those Gold Star families came on the stage and said, to this day, Biden or none of the Biden administration has ever called them. That's outrageous. That these people died on your watch and you don't call them, you don't express the country's condolences for their loved one's loss. That's just wrong. I mean, it's really wrong. And I want to talk about our party because we are, let me start by saying, when I was a kid, Republicans were for businesses and Democrats were for the working man. Well, now it's the other way around. We are the party of the working man. We care about cutting their taxes. We care about growing jobs. The Democrats, they care about taxing the rich. They don't comprehend or understand that when they tax companies, the companies raise prices, and if they tax them too high, the company takes off overseas. They don't understand that. And I get really upset when I hear Biden say, well, we're only going to tax the trillionaires 28%. We don't have any trillionaires. What planet is he on? We have millionaires and billionaires. And he corrected himself later and said he meant billionaires. Well, that's still the same problem because you raise taxes on the billionaire that owns the big businesses, and You raise their taxes 28%, that means their prices are going up 28%. Here's a good example. The local McDonald's here. I live in Miles City, Montana, out in the middle of the country. There's lots to do here. There's a Walmart, there's a McDonald's, Wendy's, Arby's, all that kind of stuff. I went into McDonald's last year because I liked the double Big Mac meal. It was $20 last July. I went in there in May rather, of this year. It was almost $29. I told him he could shove it. That means it went up $9 in a year. And he told me the reason was that their pay rate went up to $20 an hour and that people would just have to get used to it. It's like, I'm sorry, McDonald's is a quote entry level job. That means you get skills and then you go on to another job. It's not a forever job. You know, it's a place for you to go get skills and get used to working with the public. These people just don't understand. They really do not understand. They just don't understand. They do not understand the damage that they are doing to the country. You know, that's like, here's another example of stupidity. California passed this crazy new law. I watched this guy on YouTube that's a farmer in California, and he's got a Dodge Ram 5500 flatbed that he uses to pull his trucks and trailers and move his tractors and everything. He does not hire it out. So he bought it in 2022, and they told him that he just had to do the smog inspection once a year. He said it cost him $300 to get the smog inspection. And he takes it and he shows them that it passed. And he said this year when he went, they told him, nope, sorry. You missed your smog inspection in March. And he said, he was like, no, I only have to have it done once a year. I had it done last June. They said, no, we passed a new regulation. It has to be done every quarter. So they refused to give him plates. So he said, well, I've been about had it with the regulations here. And he looked at his trucks and he said, I'm moving. I don't know where yet, but I'm getting out of here. That is what is wrong with this country. You know, Gavin Newsom talks about running for president. He has destroyed California. It's now set so that all vehicles in California have to be electric by 2030. All vehicles. So, and that means that if your vehicle isn't electric, they won't allow you in the state because there's going to be nowhere to gas up a gas-powered vehicle. This is just craziness. It's just craziness that we have this crazy, crazy people in charge that they think that they're doing the country a favor. And what they're doing is they're raising everybody's prices, and they're too incompetent to realize it. This is just beyond nuts. You know, here in Montana, you don't have to do all that nonsense. If you got a pickup truck and it's a diesel, you get it inspected once a year, boom, you're done for the next year. I got my driver's license. My driver's license is good for 11 years. In Florida, it's good for 6 years, but when you turn 65, it's 4 years. When you turn 70, it's every 2 years. Here, when you turn 70, it's every 6 years. But I've got 11 years to go. So, Zach, you live in Pennsylvania. What part of Pennsylvania? Yeah, I love it here in Montana. People are friendly. People are genuinely nice. They raise their kids to be friendly. You know, their kids here are raised to go and help their neighbor, and they better not get caught trying to charge them. They're to do it for free out of the goodness of their heart. That's things that are lost in America. I mean, I use a power chair part of the time. Last winter, I was on my way uptown in the power chair, and my chair got stuck on going up the curb. I had three different people stop their trucks in the middle of the street and run over to help me get up the curb. Where else in America does that happen? I haven't never seen it. They're talking about doing surgery on my back. I don't know. I have issues when I walk, but I can deal with it currently. I got to go see what the surgeon has to say, that kind of thing. Pittsburgh. I used to deliver on the north side of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a cool town. Okay. Yeah, when I owned my own truck, I used to deliver right off of the expressway on the north side, the second exit. You went down by the river there, and then you went across the river, and that's where I picked up and delivered. And then when I come out, they wouldn't let us come back to the expressway that way. We had to turn right and go around and go all the way around Pittsburgh. That was crazy because there was no bridges. There was no low bridges. I could drive right down the street, turn the corner, get my load, go to come back, and get to the stoplight there, and it says no left turn. So we had to turn right and go around. No big deal. So Zach, what night did you like of the RNC? Yeah, that that attempt on his life, that really hit me hard because I lived through JFK getting assassinated, RFK getting assassinated, Martin Luther King getting assassinated. When a leader like that gets assassinated, it throws in the country into turmoil for several years because you have both sides wanting to fight. And so when he got up and put his fist up, I was so relieved because I had seen what that does. You know, I was 9 years old when Martin Luther King got assassinated in 1968. Scary times. Yeah. I've been doing a lot of research on that shooting, and it's turning out that it looks like it was very much an inside job. I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but several things happened that set off flags in my head. One, the morning of the rally, President Trump's whole security team was reassigned to protect Joe Biden. They brought in a quote substitute team. Turns out that substitute team was HHS investigators and had never been trained in the protocols of the Secret Service. That's why the two girls that were alongside of the SUV, after he got in the SUV, were looking at each other. The one had trouble putting her gun in her holster. I thought, well, who the hell's idea was that? But anyhow, she said she was seen saying, "What do we do now?" I'm sorry, you're the Secret Service. You're supposed to know what to do. That is drilled in their head. You protect the body, period, at all costs. If it means you give up your life, you give up your life. You keep the candidate or whoever you're assigned to alive. That's their job. Also, something else, well, a couple of things. The shooter that was on the roof, they knew that he was there at 5:51. That's a whole half hour before Trump took the stage. They never informed his security. They never told him not to go out. They let him go out on the stage with an active shooter out there. That is unforgivable. And the second sniper team, the head of Secret Service, Kimberly Cheeto, said that the building roof was too sloped. So she put them inside the building. The building had no windows. Hello? And the roof was not a very real sloped roof. And the sniper team across from it was on a steeper sloped roof than what that was. Yeah, they weren't interested in stopping him because those agents were not Secret Service. They were Department of Homeland Security investigators. And Kimberly Cheeto, you know, she's got to be the most, either the stupidest person on the planet or the most arrogant, or both. She rented a luxury skybox at the RNC convention. And from that skybox, she held a Zoom call with 4 Republican senators that were at the convention. And she did not answer any of their questions. They had their digital hand up in Zoom to ask a question. They did not ask any questions. She did not answer their questions. So Marsha Blackburn found out that she was there and what skybox she was in, and the 4 of them senators went and confronted her. And that was wild because she told them that they had no business being there. It's like, wow, this person is just arrogant beyond belief. Yeah, she feels protected. She's friends with Joe Biden. Joe Biden is the one that got her hired at Secret Service, to be head of Secret Service. She was friends with her. Anyhow, Monday will be interesting. Jamie Comer is holding a hearing and told Kimberly Cheeto, "You will be there. Don't make me subpoena you." And she sent back that she wasn't going to go, that she didn't have to go, so he sent her a subpoena. And there's video of right before Trump got shot. There's a girl standing behind him with a black hat and a white t-shirt, and she's holding her phone. The video I watched is interesting because the video shows her phone is pointed at Trump's head. Come to find out, she's an undercover FBI. That's beyond wild. Yeah, subpoenas get ignored. And we have a pathetic attorney general that won't enforce congressional subpoenas. Wild. Well, Zach, it's been very nice having you here. I'm going to plan on doing this every Saturday at 4. And so we'll see you next Saturday. Take care, my friend.